one mic.
All I need is one mic.
It's just different.
One mic with Big Mike.
The overall tenor of what he's saying is very stupid.
And they say his style is too urban for the radio.
Maybe it's not racism. Maybe it's placism.
Brother has to know his place, right, Bob?
One mic with Big Mike.
Things aren't always what they seem.
A sports talk show, but no subject matter is off limit.
Don't just tell me that the reason something's being done is because that's the way it's always been done. Because the first thing I'm going to say to you is slavery.
And now, your host.
I got the big homie here who needs no introduction.
Big Mike.
All I need is one mic.
What up? Welcome into a Monday edition here on, or a Wednesday edition here on the One Mic with Big Mike show. It is all day long, man. You can hear the show live via Spreaker.com, the Spreaker app. Tune in, One Mic with BigMike.com. You can also hear me on demand on iTunes, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, Google Play Music, and of course YouTube, as well as the other four outlets I've already mentioned. Don't forget, the live stream is going on right now, or at least I think it is going on right now on Facebook. I'm at One Mic with Big Mike, spelled the number one, M-I-C, W-I-T-H-B-I-G-M-I-K-E. That's the same handle where you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram. Also, make sure you keep this number locked in your phone so you can interact with the show. If you like to text me, you can do so at 404-902-8104, or you can jump inside my live interactive chat room. You got to be listening via Spreaker, the Spreaker app, or my website, onemicwithbigmike.com. You'll see a little thought bubble icon sitting right there on the streaming player. All you got to do from that point on is take a couple of steps, click that little streaming player, or that little thought bubble icon, and it'll get you in the live interactive chat room. The other way you can do so is by commenting below the live streaming video here on YouTube. Something's going on. I can't really hear myself. I hope you guys are hearing me all right, because I can't really hear myself. All right, whatever. I guess I don't really need to. I don't listen to the damn show anyway. But yeah, you can comment below the live streaming video going on Facebook Live. I'm at facebook.com/1 MICWITHBIGMIKE. Speaking of the live interactive chat room, shout out to the homie I Am No Doze. Ain't seen you in a minute, homie. You know the rules. Like, if I don't hear from you for a minute, I just assume that somebody knocked your ass off. But it's good to see that you're among or walking among the land of the living, above ground. So what up to you? You guys can join I Am No Doze, like I said before, by just clicking on that little thought bubble icon you see if you're listening via Spreaker, the Spreaker app, or, of course, the website, onemicwithbigmike.com. All right, so today's show is a little bit, these are the kind of shows that I like. You know, there's not a lot going on today, and if you've been watching ESPN or whatever you've been trying to look at today, you see a lot of bull crap, people trying to make up stories that ain't really stories, try to fill time. Not here. You know, today is one of those days where you get to have like a real conversation about things and get to kind of hash things out with the people who listen to the show. Speaking of the people who listen to the show, you guys, don't forget about hashtag Put It On The Poll, where throughout the show, I'll throw out little questions for you guys to give me some feedback on, like some things that I want to get answered. I'll put them on my Twitter at One Mic with Big Mike, the poll questions. You guys just chime in, and throughout the night we'll get the results. Renee will help me with the results, and I'll give you guys the results on some of the questions I'm going to ask. Also, it is an interactive type of bit where you guys can also participate and put it on the poll, not just by voting on the poll. If you guys need a poll question answered, holler at us, man. Throw it at us. You can text it to 404-902-8104. You can also drop it inside the live interactive chat room, or leave it as a comment below the streaming video here on Facebook, and we'll try to get you some answers. You know, today I brought back Woman Crush Wednesday, hashtag WCW, and today's Woman Crush Wednesday is somebody that if you were a kid in the 90s, you know who this person is. Lily from the group SWV, still looking fine, 40 and fine. You understand me? You know what, though? I don't have her handle in front of me, and while I was sitting here trying to figure out what am I forgetting to do, I didn't put her social media handle on my notes. I'll get it before the end of the show, though. At the first break, I'll try to remember to pull up her social media situation, or if Renee's listening, Renee can do it and put it in the chat room so I can shout her out. She actually retweeted the stuff, so appreciate you, shouty. Good look on that. She got a book out, I think. You know, it's got something to do with her losing her virginity or something like that. So maybe we have her on the show and we'll talk about some old times, some good old 90s love-making R&B music. They was talking about going downtown before it was popular. All right, so today's show, no guest tonight. Next Wednesday at this time, or at 7:30, my man Alex Kaptoff from what's the name of his site? See, I'm already struggling through the beginning of the show, but he'll come on next week after the championship game, and we'll start talking about draft. We'll start talking about guys who where guys are projected to go. Start talking about these all-star games coming up and things like that. And for those of you who know me, who've heard me on the radio before, you know that I'm a real geek for things like this, and I love this part of the season when it comes to evaluating the talent and seeing how guys move on from the college ranks to the professional ranks. So at 7:30, the bottom of the hour, if you're listening podcast wise, I'll do our daily feature, and now it is 2017. It is daily. You can catch it. If I'm not doing the show, you can always catch it on the social media situation at One Mic with Big Mike. On this day comes up at the bottom of the hour. I want to talk about activism as well. Activism. I saw a wonderful article in the Washington Post yesterday, and I didn't get a chance to talk about it. So I want to talk about activism as how it's perceived by sports fans and whatnot. I don't know why the hell I can't hear myself hardly. This is weird stuff, man. I've been having a lot of audio issues today. So, you guys bear with me. I hope it's coming through nice and clear on the stream, because it hasn't been for the last couple of days. So also, we got to talk about some NBA stuff, especially here in the city of Atlanta, because based on one of the poll questions yesterday or Monday, I'm concerned about what is going to end up happening here in the fair city of Atlanta as far as the basketball goes. Football is doing well this year. It's doing real well this year. But the basketball situation, the landscape of things is probably going to change here in just a second. And the Hawks as an organization don't really seem to be ready for it to change. And it's probably also because the fan base isn't going to be ready for the type of changes. The NCAA, this lane thing and this Nick Saban thing is still going on, and it just keeps getting weird. It's really time to let it go. And I've got to introduce you guys to Najee Harris, the most awesome kid in the world, and in this world of everybody like look at me and watch what I'm gonna do type things, this kid has found a way to stick out in his own way or whatever. So. And of course, in ever, homie. And then you can probably make that same argument for Brock Osweiler this year, that he hasn't started the game in the NFL this year, but whatever. I'm going to watch because it's football. And I always say about football is like stepped on dope, and we're all addicts. No matter how weak it gets, we're going to still do. We're going to still shoot it. We're going to still smoke it. We're going to still ingest it because it's football. So they know it, and we know it, and now we got this. We got Brock Osweiler and freaking I can't even remember Connor Cook. Yeah, thanks. I got to talk to you guys a little bit about Kirk Cousins. We got some Hall of Fame stuff coming up today, and of course Hard Knocks. We got to get ready for that badness again. Like, it's time now. I think. This is just another example of what I'm talking about, the stepped on dope, the Hard Knock situation. It's pretty much jumped the shark at this point, because now we're in a situation we get so much information now. When Hard Knocks started, it was like a peek. It was like a peek behind the curtain, right? And then like Bountygate happened, because that's when that happened, when cameras were everywhere. That dude, I think it was Steve Gleason, the dude that's really suffering bad from ALS. He was recording for something else, and they caught Greg Williams talking about take the head out and hit him in the head and all this kind of craziness, and everybody lost their damn mind. And so now, people understand. If you saw this year's Hard Knocks, like Ty Gurley and Tavon Austin, them dudes, they knew. They was playing for the camera and all that kind of stuff. The other kid, William Hayes, all them dudes, they not now. It's just like reality shows now. They're not real anymore. Like The Real World, when that first came out and all those broke people was like, look, they're going to give us somewhere to live for 6 months? Cool, whatever. Now people know how to act, and they're getting casted in certain characters, and that's the same way these Hard Knock situations are edited. So we'll talk about the teams that are eligible. I think there's only 8 teams eligible to be on Hard Knocks this year, and we'll talk about it. Might even put something on the poll about it as well. And I'm going to start the show off after I give you guys the headlines, talking about forgiveness. and how it all works as far as who gets to do people get to demand forgiveness? Like, there's somebody who does something to you over time, or somebody who offends another person get to say, all right, now it's time for you to forgive me. So we'll talk about that here in just a second. But in the headlines, Minnesota. Remember I talked about the story, the University of Minnesota. They had that situation up there where 10 kids got suspended for some sexual assault stuff that went on at the university. And the thing, like the stickiest thing about it was that they gotten, I don't know if it was acquitted, but they never got charged by the police. But then the Title IX people came back and investigated it twice. They investigated it once and apparently found nothing, but then investigated again and found a bunch of other stuff, text messages and things of that nature. But in the midst of all that, the Minnesota players, the other players who weren't suspended, they threatened to boycott the Holiday Bowl, which is one of the highest paying second tier bowls. And of course, you're in Minnesota, you're probably going to want that loot. While all that was going on, their coach was like, yo, I defend my players. I defend their right to stand up for what they believe in. I stand by them and all this kind of stuff. All good, my man. All good until everything blows over. These kids back down because apparently they got some information that they weren't privy to. Their teammates, the 10 guys who were suspended, didn't fill them in on the actualities of what the school had on them. And they decided to play in the bowl game. They played in the bowl game. They beat, I don't know who it was, somebody. They won the game. End up 9-4 this year. Minnesota now end up 9-4. Apparently they got like a great graduation record and all that kind of stuff. But guess what? The coach still got fired. Tracy Claeys got his ass axed today. You know why? Because the establishment can't have one of their own, or what they say, the guards can't have one of their own siding with the prisoners. That's all it boils down to. This dude didn't underperform. He may have even overperformed. And on the way out the door, he was like, yeah, I ain't gonna have to be freezing my ass up here in Minnesota no more, and left. I think his buyout was like $500,000. So like he white man lost, as I call it, hashtag white losing, where you lose, but really you not losing because you get kicked out the door. But, you get $500,000, as a parting gift, and you don't have to freeze your ass off, as he put it, in Minnesota anymore. So that happened. Lane Kiffin was talking to that. I think he was on Dan Patrick's show this morning talking about how he he was wondering if he was going to be at the game in the press box helping Steve Sarkisian out with the offense. He's like, we haven't really figured out how it's going to work. We don't know if we can have that many coaches and bliggity blah blah. And then an hour later, Nick Saban was like, hell no. He ain't coming. He gonna be his ass in Florida if he want to be somewhere. He ain't gonna be here with us. Nuh-uh. And then that was that. Like I don't know, man. That Nick Saban thing, it really kind of just it just irks me, man. That this dude, and I'm gonna talk about it a little bit later. Like the amount of benefit that this dude gets for being such a turd bag of a human being. Yeah, he's very, very good at one thing, at coaching college kids. He's very, very good at that. But does that mean that he just gets all the benefit of the doubt when it comes to the way he gets to treat other human beings? I don't know that I think so, man. To be honest, I don't think so. You know what I mean? It's like you're a human like I am. I don't give a damn if you make $9 million a year and you got national championships and all that. Like, plenty of people who've accomplished a lot of money have gotten their ass kicked over a bunch less. Let's not get that twisted. So that whole thing about, I had a homeboy who damn near started and quit a job at the same damn time. It was pretty close. It was a job in radio because the dude that he was working for, dude that I know, what the hell is that dude's name? His last name is Carter. Kevin? I think his name was Kevin Carter's a damn his name was Kevin. I can't remember his name. If I could, I'd say it. Well, I'm not giving that dude no damn protection. But anyway, he my man was new down there. He missed a meeting that he wasn't sure that he had to be at or whatever. And then this dude tried to ream him out and cuss him out and told him the reason that he felt that he could do that because of the position that he was in. He was like, yeah, I'm in this position so I can talk to you the way I want to. And my dude was like, nah, you can get your ass whooped. And that same night he got on the air, cuz and was writing his resignation letter while telling the people of Orlando, yeah, I'm out of here. It was good getting to know you for a couple of weeks. Yeah, I'm going home. Damn this. I'm not here to take that from no other grown man. And like, that's just real talk, man. Like, plenty of people, and I don't begrudge anybody that, you know, would have stuck it out because it's a radio gig and people think, you know, these radio gigs are just whatever. But nah, cuz. Nah. Shout out to Charles Brown. Charles Brown checking in on Facebook. I'm on Facebook Live right now. Streaming live video for you weirdos. He's one of those weirdos. You know who my man, Jarvis Davis, man. My man who he produces Dukes and Bell over at 92.9 over at the old shop, man. Told me that he checks the show out on the Facebook, that he's one of the weirdos that watches while he listens. So shout out to the homie Jarvis Davis. I don't know. I think Jarvis gets to do overnights over there on the weekend. The let out. Y'all be checking for that. Nothing else over there. Just my dude. Just be checking for that. What up, Big L? Big L's in the chat room. You guys can join them in the chat room. If you like, you got to be listening via Spreaker or the Spreaker app. And, of course, on onemicwithbigmike.com, the website, click on that little thought bubble you see on the streaming player to get you right up in here. And you can hang out with me, Big L, Renee, and whoever else. You know, Chris Brown. Let's call this dude Chris Brown. Charles Brown, like Charlie Brown, is up in the comments on the Facebook video, or you can just text me at 404-902-8104. So yeah, back to these headlines. There's only a couple of them. There was nothing to talk about today. That's the headline. Nothing to talk about in sports today. So you know what these people did all day long? Talk about Odell Beckham Jr. in Miami with the rest of the wide receivers for the Giants wearing Timberlands and black jeans with no shirts on. Like, that happened today on my television all day. Like it's a real thing. I blame y'all, man. I tell you guys all the time, man. I blame y'all for not understanding what the power of the consumer is, man. Because now I'm turning around and apparently in the morning, you D-bags want to watch Stephen A. Smith scream at this white boy, Max Kellerman, with this nice looking Asian lady in the middle. ENF enjoy that, man. The good part that came out of it that I found out today, the Lebatard show is going to be moving to ESPN2. The reason that's good is because in this office that I'm in, I only have one of those little Comcast boxes, so I don't get all my ESPNs in here, which is a ripoff. But whatever, screw Comcast. But I do get ESPN2, so I'll be able to watch Dan Lebatard, which is a very, very stupid and beautifully ignorant show. The way this gig should be done. Very stupidly and very ignorantly and very entertaining. Not all the hollering and screaming and my point is better than yours and your point is stupid. Embracing debate. I blame y'all, man. This just happened. Grayson Allen. You remember Grayson Allen? He be tripping? Yeah. His coach going to have back surgery next week. And apparently in the world of Duke basketball, what is it called? You're suspended indefinitely is the word I'm looking for. An indefinite suspension only equals one game. Grayson Allen will be back tonight after one game. That dude's sitting around there tripping people right and left, and apparently he's supposed to be punished. Yeah, until, guess what? Until the coach need to go out for with back surgery, and it's like, I ain't gonna leave this to the hands in the hands of Jeff Capel and let this fall apart without my best player. Are you rehabilitated? Bet. Let's go. I am though. Max is really bright. I know he is. I see him on that boxing stuff. Now I don't really follow boxing either, but I see him on that boxing stuff. He seems to know his stuff. But what ends up happening in situations like that, because apparently the check is gonna be nice too. The check has got to be nice. You're gonna find out over time. I am though. He's talking about Max Kellerman, that his takes are gonna start getting dumbed down more and more and more. Because like Stephen A. Smith was a credible writer at one point. So was the other kid, Skip Bayless. From what I understand, they were very credible writers at one point. But then what happens is you start, again, like I mentioned earlier, you start playing a character. You know what I mean? You start playing a character, and you got to be the, I'm so angry black man. And you got the, I'm so irrational old white dude. And apparently, that's the thing. That's the, you know what I mean? That's the move. I blame y'all, man. I blame you, I am no dose. You, man, I blame you for that. So before I move on, because I want to talk about Michael Vick. That's always a nice, easy, smooth topic when Mike Vick does something and puts himself in the news for radio hosts. Because like on the old gig, you just say Mike Vick, and then watch the phones. Next thing you know, 3 hours later, time to go home. You know what I mean? No phones here today, so it's just going to be me. Sorry. Not sorry. Before I get into all that, let me give you guys the results from the polls, from the hashtag Put It On The Poll, brought to us by sportsnewsandbrews.com from Monday. This time I was able to screen capture them properly. The other day I effed it up so terribly. One is, why do you think people are rooting for sports players / teams to lose and fail? 50% said social media, and 50% said we've always been like that. Have we though? Have we always been like that? Because think about when Mike Tyson got his ass whooped by Buster Douglas, nobody was like, oh man, that's what his ass get. Like, we were more shocked than anything because Mike Tyson was such an enormous part of at least my youth. He was like this giant among men. I really don't think, I think it's social media. Like, that's my answer. And you know why? Because I think what social media has done more than anything throughout history, it's put regular people seemingly on the level of extraordinary people. You know what I mean? Like, I remember the first time somebody was telling me about Twitter. This fat, lumpy dude that I was working a security gig with was talking about, he came in like, yeah, man, it was so funny, man. Like, Shaq was talking about this, that, and the other. And I was like, this douchebag think he talking to Shaq for real. That's like some dude that Shaq hired or something to do that. Like, I didn't realize how it worked, that these dudes are actually, interacting with people. So now people who go to regular 9-to-5 jobs feel like in some way, like they're on the same level. They can actually touch Ronda Rousey or touch Floyd Mayweather or whomever when something bad happens. So I think that's the result of that. Social media makes you feel like, yeah, you ain't no better than me, and ha, that's why you got your ass kicked. When in all actuality, very few people who's talking that noise and putting crying Jordan memes on people, especially these fighting people, could do anything to stop them if they wanted to put them hands on them. Could do anything to stop them. The other question that we asked on hashtag Put It On The Poll, when do you start watching NBA games? When? 40% said when the season starts. 0%, surprisingly, 0% said Christmas Day. I would have thought that would have been at least had some votes. And then 40% said the playoffs is when they start. And then 20% of you, I don't know. Well, I guess that's cool because I'm not a fan of every sport either. But 20% of you said I don't watch at all. And finally, as an Atlanta Hawks fan, talking to my Hawks fan, and we're going to touch on this later as well. Would you support the team tanking the season to set up for a better team in the future? 73% said no. And that's a problem. And I'm going to tell you later on why. That's a huge problem, man. And 27% obviously said yes. My man Matt was like, nah, because I like our rookies. You can like them all you want to, but how many of these rookies are going to be playing 7 games in the finals to win the championship? Torian Prince? Pardon my laughter. So like I said, before we go to break here, we got a couple minutes before the break, but I want to set this topic up for you guys because I know it's one of those things that kind of gets people to talking about. And it's not really, well, before I do that, let me just give you the backdrop on everything. This is the One Mic with Big Mike show. I'm here every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, live on Spreaker.com, also on the Spreaker app, and on TuneIn, and the website onemicwithbigmike.com. I'm live. I'm also on Facebook Live, www.facebook.com/1MICWITHBIGMIKE. The chat room is wide open for you. All you got to do is click that little thought bubble that you see. If you don't see it, that means you're not listening via Spreaker or the Spreaker app or my website, onemicwithbigmike.com. Just click on it. It'll get you inside this live interactive chat room. You can also text me at 404-902-8104, as well as leave your comments right below the live streaming video. So, this weekend was the final regular season football game of the Georgia Dome. Now, for those people here in Atlanta, we all know that the Georgia Dome wasn't necessarily built for the Falcons. It's the home of the Falcons, but it wasn't necessarily built for the Falcons. It was built for the Olympics, and throughout the years, they did some changes to it. It had green seats at the beginning, those like teal green seats, and they made them red to make it seem more homely. But obviously, Arthur Blank wanted a place for his team to be housed that he could call the home, the actual home that was built for the Falcons. So he's got that going up right now, the Mercedes-Benz Dome, which ironically is the same name as the Superdome, the Mercedes-Benz Superdome. So that's a thing. And the dome is closing after this season. So to kind of commemorate that, it was weird to me. They brought back a bunch of old players. They brought like Michael Turner and like Algie Crumpler was there, and Roddy was there from last year. Mike Vick was there. I didn't see Jamal Anderson or his penis there. Neither one of them, I don't believe, were invited. The old dirty bird, the dirtiest of them all birds. Yes, he wasn't there, nor his exposed penis. If you don't know what I'm talking about, just Google it. So yeah, Mike Vick showed up, and then it was kind of like a thing though, of people like, oh man, let that man come back, man, let that man live. And people, they tried to get like 30,000 signatures to keep him from being acknowledged. It wasn't even like something that was happening, like a ceremony, like somebody's jersey was being retired, and it was weird all around to me. But it's the type of thing that happens here in Atlanta. For those people who aren't from here, it's the type of thing that happens in the Atlanta sports culture. It's a celebration of almost nothing. I mean, because most people do that stuff, and they bring back their championship teams, right? It's the commemoration of the Steelers championship team, the Miami Dolphins championship team, the Redskins championship team. I guess when you're a city that has no championships for your team, you just like, hey, pick up the phone, and the first 12 people that pick up from the old squads, tell them we're doing something in the dome and see if they want to come. And that's apparently what happened. And, you know, Mike Vick, this is the place where he got some of the most crazy, loyal, unconditional type love from the fans here, regardless of anything that he did, the dog fighting stuff, which I never really understood. Like, full disclosure, I've never owned a dog in life. You know, I'm not a pet guy. I'm not a dog guy. I think it's weird that people dress their dogs up and treat them like children or call them children and all this foolishness. I think it's weird as hell. But I understand, though, there are people who are like that. I thought it was like when it came out what he was doing, electrocuting and choking dogs, I thought that was like real crazy and weird, but I wasn't on that. I guess my perspective and point of view on everything, I didn't understand why people were so adamant to defend this guy who had the potential of blowing up this entire franchise, man. There was so much invested in him being the guy that had a lot of things not going right. This would be Cleveland, man. This would be the Cleveland Browns here in the South. And no one, I don't feel like the fans here in Atlanta ever really wanted to admit that to themselves, because it's one of those things when you get too deep into something or with somebody, you don't want to admit that you were wrong about that person. And inevitably, Mike Vick, out of his own mouth, told these people here on the radio he didn't work. He didn't do the work in the weight room. He didn't do the work in the film room. He just showed up to play football. And I couldn't understand why, as a fan of football, if you're a fan of this team here, how that doesn't just offend the hell out of you, man. Like, you know what I mean? Because people always talk about what they invest in the team. They buy their tickets and they buy their jerseys. And we invested in this and the product is this, that, and the other. But the feeling that the product could have been so much better had the person that you hitched your wagon to took the gig seriously and been a professional. The dogfighting stuff up aside, like all this stuff came out as a remnant of the dogfighting. Like he was able to start admitting these things after the fact. But then knowing that and being like, yeah, we're going to ride with Mike Vick forever. I don't know about that. So on the other side of the break, I'm going to talk about forgiveness. And I'm going to tell you guys some things. Mike Vick, he was spoken to by a reporter after the game on Sunday. So I'm going to tell you guys some of the things that he said, and I want to get some of you guys' perspective. We might have some things that we can put it on the poll, hashtag put it on the poll, to get, you know, a gauge of maybe where I stand versus where some of you guys stand on the issue of like things like forgiveness or in I guess his words, I think his words were letting it go, or to let it go, let things go. So we'll do that next, right here on the One Mic with Big Mike show. Heard live every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday on Spreaker.com, the Spreaker app, tune in, and One Mic with BigMike.com.
One Mic.
I have one question for you.
Do you or someone you know run a business that could benefit from additional exposure? The One Mic with Big Mike show is currently taking on new sponsors and advertisers. One Mic with Big Mike is currently syndicated across 8 different online platforms, and your company's name could be heard and seen across all 8 as well.
Let's get to work.
Please send
It may be hard to believe, but people just like you are already saving money. FeedThePig.org makes it easy. Their simple savings plan teaches you how to start saving without going overboard. So you don't need to mooch off your friends.
You gonna finish that grape?
You mean the one in my mouth?
You don't need to stop buying the necessities.
What you're smelling is a natural musk.
Ew.
You don't need to be a medical test subject.
How do you feel?
Mostly okay. Sometimes, though.
You don't need to get a second job as a stuntman.
We need a new stuntman. Let's break for lunch.
You just need an internet connection. Don't get left behind. Start your personal savings plan with the tips and tools on feedthepig.org. That way, you don't need to sell your soul to the devil.
$15 is the best I can do.
All right, deal.
Brought to you by the American Institute of CPAs and the Ad Council.
And now, back to One Mic.
What are we waiting for? Let's get to it.
With Big Mike.
Hey. Real N-words, what's up? Welcome back to the One Mic with Big Mike show. We're here live and direct
Hump Day.
on a hump day, man. Appreciate you guys for joining me out there. Everyone who's listening to the show on demand. I see the holidays is over, so the on-demand numbers is back up, so appreciate you guys for that. I'm here, Spreaker.com, the Spreaker app. Tune in, One Mic with BigMike.com. I'm also on demand on all those outlets, as well as on iTunes, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, Google Play Music, and YouTube. You can catch the audio and the video there. The video coming from my live Facebook stream on Facebook Live. The page is One Mic with Big Mike, spell the number one, MICWITHBIG, MIKE. That's the same handle you want to use for my Twitter and my Instagram. You guys are going to want to make sure you're following me on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, and liking my Facebook page as well, because I told you guys yesterday I got some hats and stuff that I want to give away. Can you guys see this? Let me put one of the hats up for the camera so you guys can see what I'm talking about. See, like one of these joints. See, this official Atlanta Hawks basketball club situation here. I almost started not to give this away the other day or yesterday. I was online and I saw some Air Force Ones that were the exact same color, like this pinkish color with the red stitching in it, and I was like, yeah, I ain't gonna do that. I'm gonna keep my word. I got a couple of them though. I got like 4 or 5 of them, so I'm gonna figure out a way to give them away. But trust, it's gonna have something to do with my online situation, my social media situation. So make sure you guys are following me on Twitter, Instagram, liking my Facebook page at One Mic with Big Mike. We got to do on this day real quick, and when we get back, I'm gonna make sure I get you my girl's Lily from. Now she's my girl, right? Get you Lily's social media information so you guys can check her out online. She is today's Lily from SWV is today's Woman Crush Wednesday, the first one of 2017. I believe I said 16 earlier, 2017. So before we do all that, let's do this.
Now, let's take a look back. On this day.
I think my old lady turned up the damn heat. I feel it, cuz. Is it cold outside or something? On this day in 1942, the NFL Pro Bowl featured the Chicago Bears versus the NFL All-Stars. The Bears won 35-24. I meant to look this up because I think back in the day what used to happen is the champion, the year's champion, would face an all-star team, and that would be how you got your Pro Bowl. Somebody can fact check that for me. I get my crack staff on it. Speaking of crack staff, by next week, I think the intern situation will be in tow. Fingers crossed. So I'll keep you guys posted on that situation, and you'll see how much more smoothly the show runs. Not really. It's probably going to still be a damn train wreck. On this day in 1957, former heavyweight champion Smoking Joe Louis, appeared on the Steve Allen Show to introduce singer Solomon Burke. Burke performed Lewis's "You Can Run, But You Can't Hide." Here's the thing. I think this is around the time, you seen that Joe Louis documentary. It's the time where Joe Louis was broke and he was like on, you know what I mean? Yeah, he was on that stuff. And like doing all these kind of gigs just to get money in his pocket, man. It was like another downfall of a great fighter. I think this was around that time. On this day in 1976, the Dallas Cowboys They became the first wild card team to make it to the Super Bowl. They beat the Los Angeles Rams 37-7 in the NFC title game. On this day in 1977, Mary Shane, Miss Mary, is hired by the Chicago White Sox as a TV play-by-play. That's 1977, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, and then we still had like 2 years ago, this douchebag that worked at at the station I worked at had a problem with this woman calling as a playoff game, I guess it was. Yeah. What's that dude's name? Mike Bell. That dude got hired today. I got fired. On this day in 1982, Brian Gumbel moved from NBC Sports to the anchor desk, where he joined Jane Pauley as co-host of the Today Show on NBC. Brian Gumbel, man, is a little bit of a thug, man, as far as like this sports thing goes, man. That real sports thing is real deal, man. If you guys don't have HBO or that, find somebody who got an HBO Go account so you can watch real sports, at least so you can watch real sports. HBO got a bunch of good programming, but that real sports thing is real. That's why they call it real. On this day in 1983, shout out to Donald Trump. You guys as president-elect. The USFL, the United States Football League, held their first player draft. Was Herschel Walker the first player drafted in the USFL? See, I meant to look that up too. Didn't do it. On this day in 1984, the Edmonton Oilers, for my hockey folks, they beat the Minnesota North Stars 12-8. It was the highest scoring modern day NHL game to date. That's 20 points in the NHL game. That's like 400 in the NBA. On this day in 1986, NCAA basketballs out of Navy, David Robinson, the Admiral, he blocks a record 14 damn shots. And finally, on this day in 2003, shout out to the ATL as we continue the conversation here about Michael Vick. The Green Bay Packers lost 27-7 to the Atlanta Falcons in the NFC wildcard game. It was the very, very, very first time that the Packers had lost a playoff game at home. And people here in Atlanta will not let you forget that. Even though Vick didn't play particularly well, the game was played very sloppily. There was a bunch of like bad snaps on punts and all kind of craziness. They'll act like Michael Vick threw for 400 yards in that damn snowstorm, though. They'll act like that. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is your Hump Day episode or edition of On This Day. All right, now getting back to the conversation here on the One Mic with Big Mike show, right here on Spreaker.com, the app, tune in, and of course, OneMicWithBigMike.com. Make sure you guys take the text line number down. It's 404-902-8104. If you're looking at me on the Facebook here, the Facebook, take the off. You'll see the number at the bottom of the screen right around my chesticle level here. So Mike Vick sat down. I think he sat down with the Sporting News because this is where this article is coming from. It may have been with the AJC, but I'm not sure. So I don't want to slight anybody. Not that I care, but don't want to do it. It starts off with basically the statement. That starts off with the first thing I highlighted in the article was that Vick has moved on, so we should too. His quote is this. Michael Vick's quote is this. I think at some point in your life, you have to forgive. I'm just thankful there's a lot of people here in the organization in this city. There's a lot of people who forgave me and gave me an opportunity to show a different side of myself. I'm just thankful that I got a lot of supporters, and that's all you can ask for. This petition, the change.org petition, was what people were trying to get signed. They asked the Falcons not to invite Vick to Sunday's game. More than 30,000 people wasted their time signing this damn thing. Like, at some point, like, I mean, the sensible side of me says he's right. You know what I mean? But also, I will say this, and here, this is my point of view as it pertains to this. Of course, it's mine. It's coming out of my mouth. That the offender doesn't get to tell the offendee when to let it go. As trivial as it may sound, people run around here talking about they dogs. I'm such a dog lover, and I can't believe he did that, and blah, 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 da, 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 da. All right. You know what I mean? Like, it's kind of exasperating. Like, and it's got to be taxing for somebody to kind of hold that kind of thing. Like, to just, like grip so tightly onto that type of thing. You know what I mean? Where, in actuality, I'm the type of dude that's always like, they dogs. You know what I mean? Sorry, phone charger. Had to pick it up. Yeah, I'm kind of like that dude. You know, but I try to understand people's attachments to certain things and how they feel. But in actuality, This dude, he's done his time. Now, I'm not that everybody deserves a second chance, dude. I wasn't that way with him. I'm still not. I'm not that way about everything. Like, these things should be definitely decided on a case by case situation. Like, and we have to clarify like what a second chance is. Like, because for a while there was this narrative that, you know, maybe Roger Goodell, because of the PR hit, the PETA people and all that kind of stuff, wasn't gonna let Mike Vick back in the league. And my take when we were on radio, when me and Rob were on radio, was like, okay, so what? He'll have to become like the rest of us. Like, everybody don't get to win the lottery twice. Most people don't get to win it once. So for you to tell me, a dude that got to go to work and make his money every day, that Mike Vick coming out of jail deserves to be able to hit that type of lick again, nah, he don't. He don't. Now, if he's afforded that opportunity, good for him. And good for the people who's doing that, because obviously the reason that they're doing it is because he can provide some sort of financial benefit to their organization, them being the NFL, obviously by way of the Philadelphia Eagles coming out. So, okay, I understand it, but that whole like everybody deserves a second chance, nope. Because there's certain things that you can't do to me or my family members. You don't get no second chance. You done, dude. And there's plenty of people that, like, I would tell you right now, I hope they die screaming. Straight up. I don't want to say it's plenty, because that makes me seem like the bad guy. Not plenty. But yeah, there are people that, ain't no second chance. You did what you did. Now, you know, get effed, cuz I'm good. So, for the most part, I think most rational people, right? Most rational people say Mike Vick, he paid his penance and he went to jail. That whole narrative of, you know, he did two whole, that argument, the thing that we don't tend to do a lot of times is go any deeper than the way our feelings take us. As I say, like, I think right before Mike Vick, like a year before, this white dude caught 5 counts of dog fighting in North Carolina. Or 6 counts. He got 5 years for each one. He got 30 years for the same crime. So let's not do the compare thing, because like both people in that Mike Vick and what's that kid's name? The white kid that they gave like 2 weeks in jail when he raped that chick beside the trash can and somebody had to pull him off of him. Brock Turner. Let's not act like, you know, like he should have got life and then Mike Vick should have went home. No, they both should have went to jail. They both consciously broke the law. Like, not accidentally. Like, when it first happened with Mike Vick, you know what I said? I said the difference to me and the way that the way people are acting towards the situation, Mike Vick didn't just get caught like coming out of a dog fight. He got caught in like a dog fight and sting ring. Nah, this dude headed up what they call an interstate gambling organization. He had a safe house or whatever you want to call it for the dog. So it's like, let's not. And then you find out later he ended up being participating in the killing of the dogs and the electrocuting of the dogs. So by law, you can't do that. You know, that's something you can't do, and it causes for jail time. And while, you know, he was being arrogant about the situation, telling us how people was gonna love him, he was right about that. No matter what, a lot of y'all was still loving him, and you know, you still do. You know, that's for you and yours and however you want to do. I'm not the dude that's all over this man worship thing. So, you know, something else I read today talked about like forgiveness, like people forgiveness and forgiveness not necessarily equating or forgetting. I mean, I can vibe with that. You know, I can vibe with that. But then the question is always going to be like, who gets to be that person? Does the person who offends, and you guys can answer this, 404-902-8104. You can answer it in the chat room or, of course, below in the comment section below the live streaming video on Facebook at One Mic with Big Mike. Who gets to make that call? Does the offendee get to make that call? And I'm not just talking about Mike Vick. I'm talking about in general, like in life. Because I'm the type of dude, like, you don't get to, like if somebody steals from me or, like, vandalizes my property and they go to jail and you want to come at me with, like, I paid my debt to society. No, dude, because I still had to pay to get my house fixed or my car fixed or whatever. And all that, like, you got to, they start charging people, and part of the sentence is you have to repay whatever. How somebody going to repay me $90,000 or something like that from 13 cents a day in the pokey? Nah, it ain't going to happen. So while you thinking like, okay, I'm a reformed person, I ain't got to vibe with that. And you know when I learned that, ladies and gentlemen, I learned that as a young man, like 16, 17 years old, 18 years old. Because I was a kid, I got in trouble a lot in school. And then eventually I decided that I was going to do better. I was going to try to do better and get myself together. You know what I mean? And even after I had done that, and I kind of got myself on the right track, there were people who wouldn't accept that I was trying to be a different person. I was presenting myself as a different person. And for a minute, I got mad about it. You know what I mean? Like, why do I even try? And then at 17 years old, 18 years old, I thought to myself, I can't worry about them. I got to do this for me. You know what I mean? Like, it's not my fault. It's not their fault that they feel that way about me. I mean, I did things to them. I showed them a certain side of me. And for me to act like because I'm ready to move on, that they should move on is ridiculous. And that's the same thing I was thinking about when I heard this Mike Vick thing. It's like, just because you're ready to move on, all these crazy white folks that dress their dogs up and kiss their dogs in the mouth and all this kind of stuff, guess what? They probably gonna want to keep holding this damn grudge against you. But if they do, my man, you gotta be all right with that. You know what I'm saying? You can't just be like, man, it's time for them to move on. If they don't, the wonderful thing about Mike Vick, dude, you got from up under your bankruptcy. So you got money. You played enough years in the league where you're going to get a nice little pension and all these kind of things. So the people who have these things and are holding these things against you, they don't have the ability to affect you in a financial way, the way maybe somebody would get to do somebody at a job or something. Like you show up at a job interview like, hey, so what'd you go to jail for? Oh, yeah, man, I was fighting dogs and I was killing them and electrocuting them. And they don't hire you and you can't make no money. Nah, he's good. So to worry about those people, yeah, the same way you gave these people down here in the stand, them middle fingers, that double gun salute, yeah, give it to all them people, man. They can move on if they want to, or not. And here's the other side of that, the side I was talking about earlier, where we talk about the fan base here in Atlanta, and how, yeah, I can understand it's easy for the people here to move on. You know why? Because Matt Ryan panned out. Matt Ryan wasn't Peyton Manning coming out of college. He wasn't a sure thing. I always try to remind these people here about this. You had Matt Ryan, you had Joe Flacco, and what's the big kid from Michigan name? It was 3 quarterbacks in that draft. You had to pick one. And had Bill Parcells do what he ended up saying that he regretted not doing while he was in Miami making decisions and pick Matt Ryan, this franchise would be screwed. Because your $100 million quarterback wanted to fight dogs in Virginia. So it's easy for you to move on because Matt Ryan panned out. It's easy for you to move on because Roddy White became a different player than he was early in his career. Michael Turner turned out to be a beast as a free agent running back, which never happens. You know what I mean? Like, well, very rarely. Do you get a free agent that does the things that Mike Turner did for Matt Ryan in this offense here in Atlanta? What if Mike Smith ends up being exactly what Marcellus Wiley said he was? A lot of people don't remember that. Marcellus Wiley said Mike Smith was a puppet. By the way, shout out to Mike Smith. He's getting an interview with the San Diego Chargers. For those of you who don't know, Mike Smith was my defensive coordinator when I was in college. He's the guy who recruited me to go to Tennessee Tech University. So, yeah, shout out to him, man. He's getting a head coaching interview with the Chargers. But what if he ends up being that puppet, a guy who didn't know what was going on, know what he was doing here in Atlanta? You know, some of you may still argue that he was that guy, but, you know, the record says otherwise. He's the best coach record-wise in the history of the franchise. And there's been a couple. You know what I mean? There's been quite a few. What if those things don't happen? How then? How then do you feel about Mike Vick? You still worship him? Because for the longest while, a lot of you till this year had a bunch to say about Matt Ryan that wasn't really accurate. I remember my man Matt. Matt shows up in the chat room every now and then. You guys can show up in the chat room right now if you want to. If you're listening via Spreaker, the Spreaker app, or at onemicwithbigmike.com, just click on that little thought bubble icon. You'll be right in the building, so you can holler at me, holler at Big L. I see you, Big L. I see your comment. I'm going to read it here in just a second. But last year, Matt, I can still remember so vividly. Matt tweeting, man, Matt Ryan can't read no damn defense. I was like, come on, man, it's a professional quarterback and a very good quarterback at that. You know what I mean? Yeah, he can read defenses, but it's hard to read and execute from your ass. And he was on his ass a lot. You know what I mean? And I've always been looked at my time on the radio as this Matt Ryan apologist and all this. And when I call people out about the fact that I never thought it was Matt Ryan was the problem with people, it was the fact that he wasn't Mike Vick. You know, people felt like Arthur Blank gave up on Mike Vick when the stuff was going on with the dog fighting. People was at Arthur Blank house picketing with their kids. Like, you're a bad parent, first of all, for doing that. And second of all, what the hell he gonna do? What the hell Arthur Blank gonna do? He's the one who told her, dude, Mike, you need to get you a lawyer, which I couldn't even understand why he didn't have one on retainer. Like, why wouldn't you have a lawyer on retainer? You got enough money to make that happen. And then why did Arthur Blank have to tell you that you need one? Like, the feds is involved, cuz. You ain't just going to walk into a room and lie to them and then walk out like, ha, 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 trick them. Nah. So a lot of that stuff is weird. So then now we come full circle. And then we start talking about stuff like forgiveness. And how long is long enough for people to move on when they've been hurt or been offended or been scorned. And my personal belief is that I don't think the person who does the offending, I don't think he gets to make that call. You know what I mean? Like, you just got to live with it. If somebody's going to hate you forever for what you did, regardless of how petty you think it may be or how minuscule the offense may have been, you got to just ride that out, pimp. That's life, cuz. By the way, Lily, our hashtag WCW this week is at the real LELEESWV on the old Instagram, the old gram. And no, I did not slide into her DMs. I just simply mentioned her. So yeah, maybe Renee, we can try to get her on the show, Renee. I asked her on Twitter if she was a sports fan, but if not, we can talk about her book or whatever. So maybe Renee, we can get Lily. I thought for a while she lived in Atlanta too. Somebody that one of my interns back in the day said she used to work with her somewhere here in Atlanta. Big L says, I'm beat. Oh, I guess that means my best friend got a dog fighting charge and he had his kids there. Wow. It's not a felony charge in Arkansas. So they only had a ticket to pay. Damn. That's some backwoods country ass stuff. Because when your laws are more lax than, well, I guess, yeah, anybody's laws are more lax than North Carolina. And no, I am no dog. It's not Atlanta Falcons talk. What you want to talk about? The Saints? Okay, they're bad. Their coach is going to be gone, and Drew Brees is going to be left there like a naked man in the breeze in Antarctica. Because Jimmy Graham is gone, the running game stinks, the freaking defense is bad, and they'll have no coach. You're welcome. That's my Saints talk. Thank you. No, but the Falcons are a viable topic of conversation. I don't do this much, you know what I mean, because I don't want people to be like I am no dose. Oh, look at all this Atlanta talk. But here's the thing: the Falcons are the number 2 seed in the NFC, and to me, they're one of the most peculiar teams. They may even be the most peculiar team in these NFL playoffs coming up here, because I think the Falcons have as good a chance of anybody else of finding themselves in the Super Bowl. I also think the Falcons have as good a chance as anybody else of bowing their asses out in the first round. Well, it wouldn't be the first round for them. Because here's how it's going to shake out for those of you who don't know. All right, so this weekend, we've got, why is this on my screen? Pittsburgh and, what is that, Miami? We got Oakland and Houston. Yawn in the AFC. Then on the NFC side, you got Detroit and Seattle. Detroit's got to go to Seattle. And you've got New York going to Green Bay. Now, for the Atlanta Falcons' sake, they're going to face whichever is the lowest seed, or the highest seed that advances. So if Detroit can beat Seattle, they're going to end up playing the Cowboys, which would mean the winner of Green Bay or New York plays the Atlanta Falcons. Now, if you're a Falcons person, if you're a person who lives in the city of Atlanta, you tell me that you really, after playing the Rams and the Carolina Panthers and the 49ers and the Saints, there you go again, I am no those, you're welcome, and the Saints, 4 bum-ass teams coming down the stretch, you tell me you really got 100% confidence that Eli ain't going to show up and be Eli, playoff Eli, or Aaron Rodgers, who's on this, 5-6 game winning streak, ain't going to show up and beat Aaron Rodgers? And then the Falcons, the first time they actually faced some resistance, not know how to act. Because, again, these were 4 basically NFL scrimmages the last couple of weeks. Based on the score, these were basically 4 scrimmages. Now, they could also, if Seattle wins, they'll play Seattle. I mean, if Seattle's probably ripe for the picking right now, to be honest with you. If there's a team that's out there in this NFC playoffs that's, the running game ain't really cool. They're supposed to be getting C.J. Prosise back. The running game ain't really cool. Earl Thomas is missing. Cam Chancellor's been getting exposed somewhat in that secondary. The pass rush is there, though. Michael Bennett and them boys up front, Frank Clark and them up front are there, which could cause a little bit of problems for Matt Ryan. Then you got Russell Wilson, a guy who he understands how to win in the playoffs, a guy who can escape the rush. Vic Beasley, you heard me and Ben Troop talk about it on Monday. Vic Beasley's gotten a lot of those sacks in a couple of different ways. Very rarely had he, except for that Denver game, he was beating that dude like a drum off the edge. But what might end up happening is you can't continue. Well, not what might end up happening because I'm reading as I'm talking to you guys. The other way he's been getting those sacks is being a spy on the quarterback, and when the quarterback escapes the pocket, he's ended up tackling them behind the line because he's so damn fast. Or they've run stunts up front for him that allow him to get a free rush on the quarterback. Like those things, this is why I'm always with him more so than anything. Not with Joey Bosa. Like that thing that Joey Bosa's doing out there in San Diego is real deal Holyfield. Like he's punishing offensive tackles out there. With Vic Beasley, it's more of scheming ways to get him free. Which what you end up finding out also is the fact that he's not getting a lot of pressures on the quarterback. Like if he's not getting all the way there, it's like either the hot or the cold, the black or the white with him. So as a Falcons fan, you got a lot to be concerned about, but then you also got a lot to be optimistic about. This team, for whoever they played, it was still NFL teams, put up a whole gang of damn points over the last couple of weeks. A gang of points. You got a quarterback who may, in fact, if people don't just fall in love with this run Aaron Rodgers has been on, may in fact win the MVP this year. There's a lot to be optimistic about, but also, and don't I hope people aren't hearing me say because it's Atlanta. Like Ben says that a lot on Mondays. Like, there's one thing about this Atlanta squad because for whatever reason, people here in Atlanta love to look back. You know what I mean? And use what happened before, like 20 years ago, as a measuring stick as to what may happen or is about to happen. And they don't championship. He says Eli is like Peyton was last year. Done. Look, if you done and you done with the ring, because they got that defense they paid all that money for has showed up and came to play this year, or came to play towards the second half of the season. So Eli's he's got some tools to work with, more than just Odell Beckham Jr. What I mean by tools is that defense over there with Langdon Collins and Tonio Rogers-Cromartie and Olivier Vernon and them boys. They got a defensive tackle that had 100. They had a defensive tackle. Hear me this. They had 100 tackles this year. Never and ever have I seen that. And I've seen guys like Warren Sapp play the position. Never and ever have I seen that happen that I can recall. A D tackle, man. Like, damn, 98, 100 tackles, something like that. Yeah, it's real talk, man. So we're going to have some fun this weekend. And we'll talk about it more as we move closer to this weekend, the NFL playoffs and so forth and so on. There's really nothing for me to talk about as far as this AFC goes. And I'm dead serious. There are things. I'm not going to do that, but I'll save them for Friday. But right now we're going to take a break. First hour is down. We got 1 hour to go right here on the One Mic with Big Mike show. Heard on Spreaker.com. The Spreaker app as well is on TuneIn and One Mic with BigMike.com. The streaming video is going on live on Facebook, Facebook.com/1MICWITHBIGMIKE.
I have one question for you.
Do you or someone you know run a business that could benefit from additional exposure? The One Mic with Big Mike show is currently taking on new sponsors and advertisers. One Mic with Big Mike is currently syndicated across 8 different online platforms, and your company's name could be heard and seen across all 8 as well.
Let's get to work.
Please send all inquiries to Mike at onemicwithbigmike.com. Thank you for listening. Thank you for your continued support.
All I need is one mic.
Dear John, I was hoping it wouldn't come to this, but you've left me no choice. I'm leaving. Uncontrolled high blood pressure is really serious, and lately you seem to really not care. I've been there for you since day one, and I know you think I'm gonna keep ticking. But no, my friend, I can quit whenever I want. Why can't we get back to the good times? When we were more active and ate more healthy foods, and you checked on me every once in a while. Is that too much to ask? I don't want to leave, but unless you stop ignoring me, what else am I supposed to do? Remember, when I quit, you quit. Sincerely, your heart.
Listen to your heart and don't let it quit on you. Doing the minimum to control your high blood pressure isn't doing enough. High blood pressure can lead to a stroke, heart attack, or death. Get your blood pressure to a healthy range before it's too late. For help keeping yours at a healthy range, text PRESSURE to 97779. A message from the American Heart Association, the American Stroke Association, and the Ad Council.
One mic.
All I need is one mic.
What's the name of the show?
One mic with Big Mike.
You know, ain't nobody getting hurt, ain't nobody, there's no crime being committed.
And they say his style is too urban for the radio.
This is real life stuff that's happened to me.
Well, you know what?
You and you.
One mic with Big Mike.
I like to be able to do what I want to do.
A sports talk show, but no subject matter is off limits.
Meek Mill's concert is not called the Hell Yeah, I Banged Khloe Kardashian concert.
And now, your host.
Put your hands together for the one, the only
Big Mike.
All I need is one mic.
Yes, sir. 1 hour down, 1 to go on this hump day. Hit the button. This damn mouse is so tricky, man. I'm here, man. Every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday live at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Spreaker.com. I'm also on the Spreaker app. And, of course, tune in and OneMic.com. Make sure you guys check out the website. Sign up for your free Spreaker accounts as well. That way, once you do that and you follow my show on Spreaker, that's the most important part. Follow me on Spreaker. Then you get an alert every time the show goes live every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, so you know what time it is that you need to hop on here and check your boy out. And also make sure you guys click on that little heart button indicating that you like the show. Even if you're listening on demand, I want you to click that little heart button. Feel free to comment below the streaming video on Facebook if you're listening after the fact. And also make sure you understand that you can hear the show on demand on all those outlets I already mentioned, as well as on iTunes, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, Google Play Music, and the video will be posted as well as the audio on YouTube. So make sure you subscribe to the YouTube page, subscribe to my iTunes, and favorite my iHeartRadio and all that stuff that they allow you to do. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram, as well as like my Facebook page at One Mic with Big Mike, because during the month of January, February, until I run out, I got a couple of these hats here. I can't reach down no more to get them, but I got a couple of hats, New Era Mitchell & Ness hats that I want to, embark upon. That's not even the proper word, but I want to give out to you guys who listen to the show. We just got to figure out a way to do it. But I do know one thing: you need to be following me on all my social media platforms to figure out how I'm gonna give these joints away. Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram are all three at the number one MICWITHBIG MIKE. Now, we've been talking about Mike Vick, and not really Mike Vick per se, but about the concept of forgiveness, especially in sports when, people are a lot more forgiving than they are in real life. I give you Josh Brown. Josh Brown, knocked this chick and knocked his broad up and beat her up and took a journal of it. And the dude came back and was kicking game-winning kicks, and nobody seemed to give a damn. Then you got this young kid, Joe Mixon. We saw him play over the last couple of days for Oklahoma. Nice looking running back. Like every time I see this dude, I always feel like he's smaller than he is because he got like a little kid face, like a skinny guy face. But then he's like a pretty stocky dude, and it's a nice running back. But he was playing Auburn in whatever bowl game it was. I don't keep up with the names of the bowl games anymore. And the Auburn fans are cheering, he hits women or he beats women or something. They were cheering or chanting at him on the field while he was tearing their ass up on the football field. And then Brent Musburger caught some heat or caught some flack for saying that he was rooting for the dude to turn his life around. Like, how is that a bad thing? Like, you want a dude to be a better person, and it's like, oh, you can't do that. That means you're all about beating up on women. I'll continue to say this, and I don't care how it sounds to people. He didn't beat up on no woman. Like, the way the law is written in a lot of places, especially here, because I noticed a dude that I used to run with was a police, and while he was in the police academy, I used to look through his book or whatever, and that girl assaulted him. Take away the fact that she's a woman. Once you put your hands on somebody, and the law in most places gives you the right to defend yourself with equal force. Meaning you can't, like somebody can't punch you and you pull out a gun and unload a clip in them. But if somebody punch you, you can punch them back. Now, if your punch happens to be harder than their punch, you know what? Because as you see, the kid didn't go to jail. Because the reality is that is assault, man. You can't put your hands on people. But people feel like, for whatever reason, having a vagina makes you oblivious to not just like rules, but to laws. That you can just walk up to somebody and smack them in the face or kick them in the balls or something, and you're supposed to be alleviated from any type of retribution. You know, it's real. But anyway, I talked about this a couple of weeks, so I'm not going to rehash it. But that whole idea that somebody has to wear the marks of their transgression. A black dude has to wear the marks of his transgression throughout his life. Meanwhile, guess what's about to happen? A dude got fired for the national championship game, only for the dude to replace him to be a raging alcoholic. Not a peep. Everybody keeps talking about, he's had his personal transgressions and his struggles. Nah, say what it is. He's a effing drunk, man. Say what it is, because you don't have no problem talking about how this kid beats up on women. You don't have no problem talking about that, but like, Steve Sarkisian, he struggled with this and that and other. Get your ass out of here, man. Like, and I'm not trying to downplay people who have, who are afflicted with addiction, but the people who I feel the most remorse for are the people who don't have the resources nor the support system to get help. The people who are trying to hide and run from things in life that they can't control, like poverty and unemployment, violence. People were trying to escape from those things. This dude, a rich white dude in America. What you running from, cuz? Why I should feel sorry for you? Like, even if you got something you running from, I shouldn't have to feel sorry for you because you got resources, man, all around you to gain some sort of help for what afflicts you. You can miss me with that, man. Yeah, I like Team Kiffin here, I guess. You know what I mean? Because like this dude is getting persecuted, Lane Kiffin, because he's a jerk. And you know what's funny about this before I move on to the rest of my NFL stuff? You know what's funny about this Lane Kiffin thing that strikes me as funny, not ha funny, just peculiar, I should say. The fact that it feels like, because I read to you guys on Monday, the things that people are holding against him, the way he was fired from other jobs. But you telling me because someone else treated him like a douchebag, then there must be something wrong with him. Now, there may be, but no one's talking about Al Davis. No one's talking about how Pat Hayden left this dude at the airport instead of like being an adult and a professional about his firing. No one's talking about that. But for whatever reason, Lane Kiffin's a douchebag and he's a dirtbag and he's all these things, like as though he committed some sort of crime. That's why I said Monday, like this dude must like have some brother in his system or some black in him or something, because he's getting treated like a brother would be getting treated. My gosh. So anyway, let's wrap up the NFL stuff, because I got a couple other things I want to talk about, not just the Atlanta Falcons, but a couple of other things I wanted to talk about as it relates to the NFL. Just be warned, ladies and gentlemen, before you guys get hit with this ESPN craziness and foolishness. Kirk Cousins is going to be one of the highest paid quarterbacks in the National Football League. It's not a question. It's not even one of those things where, you can debate it or anything. He's going to be. Period, point blank. So before ESPN starts talking about, is he worth it and all this kind of craziness, just understand it's not about worth. Sometimes it's about being in the right place at the right time. And then because he didn't implode, he didn't do a Ryan Fitzpatrick this year, Kirk Cousins almost threw for 5,000 damn yards. You can't really sneeze at that. So whatever you think about Kirk Cousins, the money's going to be what it is. It has no reflection on what he's worth or if he's going to get paid more than Andrew Luck or whoever. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. This is the way the system has been set up, and he's going to capitalize on it. So before you lose your damn mind, LeBron's playing. Apparently he has the flu. Flu game for LeBron. Let's see if he gets like 60 points against the Bulls. That'd be awesome. A flu game against the Bulls. Yeah, I'll keep you guys posted. If you see me looking up, just because I moved, I brought another TV in here. So I put another TV above my monitor, so I'm looking like way up to see it, because it helps me from being distracted from the show. Yeah, I got to do something to curve this ADD thing. We have the Hall of Fame finalists. And today, you know what, Renee? Hashtag put it on the poll, brought to us by sportsnewsandbrews.com. I want to put something on the poll about this Hall of Fame situation. So the first timers in this year's Hall of Fame are running back LaDainian Tomlinson, defensive end Jason Taylor, and safety Brian Dawkins. I actually put out I actually reached out to somebody close to Terrell Davis to see if we can get him on the show. Somebody who's very close with him. So hopefully, fingers crossed, if that works. Hopefully, we can get that popping. Who's not all that good? I am Nodo's in the chat room. You guys can join me in the chat room. Click on that little thought bubble you see on the streaming player. You got to be listening via Spreaker or the Spreaker app or my website, onemicwithbigmike.com. The stats is there, but that guy really isn't all that good. You're right. He's just in the right place. Oh, yeah. Kirk Cousins. Yeah, he's just capitalizing on the system because if they franchise him, he's going to get paid like $25 million. So the compromise in between what he's getting paid now and what he would get paid if they franchise would be around $20 million. Hey, that's good money if you can get it, cuz. You know what I mean? For a dude who was actually drafted to be a backup when the Heisman Trophy winner was in the locker room, Robert Griffin III. What could have been? Yeah, Negroes, stop doing all that damn running around and learn how to throw that damn football. Yeah, understand that. I can say that because I'm a Negro, too. If a white man said that, y'all be hollering racism, but it's true. It's true. No, I haven't said it yet, Renee. I haven't said it. I'm trying to set it up first. I'm sorry. So the first timers for the NFL Hall of Fame 2017 class are going to be LaDainian Tomlinson. I think LaDainian Tomlinson's a Hall of Famer. Like LaDainian Tomlinson. It was 1 year. I want you guys to remember this. 1 year, LaDainian Tomlinson didn't make it to the to the Pro Bowl at running back. He had 100 catches and 1,000 yards. Where they do that at? But I think like Priest Holmes and other cats was like beasting in the AFC, and he just didn't make it that year. But LaDainian Tomlinson, when he was up there, he's a part of this Mike Vick thing too. Like everything now leads back to Mike Vick on the show for whatever reason. He is who the Chargers took in the first round with that pick that allowed the Falcons to move up to number 1 and take Michael Vick out of Virginia Tech. Defensive end Jason Taylor. Jason Taylor got like 100-something sacks as well. And Brian Dawkins is the other player who are first time eligible players for the Hall of Fame. Here's to put it on the poll. Hashtag put it on the poll, brought to us by sportsnewsandbrews.com. Of the first time eligible players, who is most likely to make it on their first chance? LaDainian Tomlinson, you can just put LT for him. Jason Taylor or Dawk. You can just put Dawk for Brian Dawkins if you run out of characters. D-A-W-K for Brian Dawkins. So it's LaDainian Tomlinson, LT, Jason Taylor, or Brian Dawkins. These are the first time guys this year that made the finalist list. So of those three, which one you think has the best chance of making it to the Hall of Fame this year? First time out the box. None of them may not make it, to be honest with you. None of them may make it on the first time out because guys like Terrell Owens are still in there, Alan Faneca, Tony Baselli, Isaac Bruce is in that joint. Ty Law, Kevin Mawai is in that joint as well. So there are some guys that have been waiting. Terrell Owens got passed over last. You guys remember the whole thing that went on with him and Marvin Harrison. Like Marvin Harrison just took straight umbrage to Terrell Owens saying that he deserved to be there. He didn't say Marvin Harrison shouldn't be. He just said he understood that people were holding their perception of him against him. And that's why he wasn't getting in. Marvin Harrison got on radio. Was like, you know what? Terrell Owens can go straight to hell with gasoline draws on. Like, wait, cuz, where did all that come from? By the way, if you don't know about Marvin Harrison, another person, just Google him. Just Google Marvin Harrison murder. Google that, and you'll find out a little bit about the unassuming, quiet Marvin Harrison. Like, I wish all wide receivers played the game the way Marvin Harrison does. Yeah, be always be careful of dudes who are real quiet and secluded. It's some stuff going on upstairs, man. Like, they ain't just that way because they nice. It's some crazy going on in there. Yeah, give me T.O. all the time. Give me the dude that's going to tell and be barking, the dude I can see coming all the time. Yeah, not the quiet dude that's creeping around every damn corner. Good. Hard Knocks. Mentioned that earlier in the show. Yep, they're bringing it back again. Until you guys turn it off, man, they're bringing it back. And this year, there's like 8 finalists for Hard Knocks. If I can find the freaking article here. Here we go. Yeah, there's 8 finalists. So there are teams that you won't see appear based on the rules. Teams are exempt from appearing if they just hired a new coach, if they made the playoffs in the previous 2 seasons. So Atlanta Falcons, you're good. You're good on 2 fronts because you appeared on Hard Knocks within the previous 10 years. That's the other criteria for you not being on the show or being eligible to decline the show. So that rules out 12 teams immediately. The Patriots, Chiefs, Steelers, Texans, Raiders, Dolphins, Cowboys, Falcons, Seahawks, Packers, Giants, and the Lions. The Jaguars, Rams, 49ers, Chargers, and Bills are all changing coaches. So like I said, if you got a brand new coach, you don't have to be on there. And the Jets appeared on Hard Knocks in 2010. And plus, Todd Bowles got like a heart problem and the team sucks. And, you don't get that dude no extra stress, do you? So you have the Colts, who their situation may change as well, because even though their coach is like, yeah, I'm going to be back. We don't know that yet. We don't know. So he may be gone as well. The Saints coach, Sean Payton. There you go. I am no those. That's like the fourth reference to the Saints. Calm down, B. Not like you riled up, but no, the Saints coach Sean Payton may be moving on as well. So that will eliminate them from the list. The Rams as well, because they got a brand new head coach and they just appeared on it last year. And then John Fox with the Bears. He seems to be safe, but we don't know yet. We don't know. So those teams may be eligible for Hard Knocks. And then you got the Browns. They have never been on Hard Knocks. You don't say. You don't say. No one wanted to see the Browns. No one wants to see a baby poop in a diaper and wipe it on the TV. No, I don't know though. That might be funny. If I saw that on like the Instagram, I'd laugh. Then you got the Ravens, of course, because the Ravens hadn't been on there since like 2005 or something like that. The Eagles, they got Carson Wentz. The Bucks, of course, they got Jameis Winston and that whole situation going on down there. Jameis Winston seems like one of those dudes, like I was talking about earlier, that would definitely play for the Cavs. He's like such a character. The thing I said about him coming out of the draft is like he's that dude that believe everybody sees him exactly the way that he sees himself. And so he acts like that everywhere. It's like, yeah, whatever, dude. I'm that dude, and you guys know it too. And it makes to me, it makes him an entertaining human being. So let's put it on the poll, Renee. Hashtag put it on the poll. Let's pick a few of these teams, not all of them. Which team would you most like to see on HBO's Hard Knocks? Let's put the Bucks. Let's put Bucks, Eagles. Let's put Browns for just, kicks and giggles. Saints and Ravens. Let's see if we can get all those on there, Renee. Hashtag put it on the poll is brought to us by sportsnewsandbrews.com. The 4 teams, or the teams, Renee, are going to be the Saints, the Browns, Ravens, Eagles, and the Bucks. Which one of those teams would you most like to see on HBO's Hard Knocks? All right. And finally, for the world of the NFL, because I definitely want to get this out because I didn't get the chance to talk about this on Monday. Not this particular thing, but it just happened to hit me that it kind of just vibed into the same thing. So Colin Kaepernick, he won the Les Eschmont Award. It's an award given out as a team award that's voted on by the players, by teammates. They vote on who's going to win this award, and he won it. And everybody wasn't happy about it because it's an award for something like your influence or something like that. Where is this damn thing? I don't want to keep trying to paraphrase what it is, but yeah, it's got something to do with how much influence you had on things or whatnot. But Joe Theismann wanted to poo-poo on it, man. You know what I mean? Here it is. The prize is described as the team's most prestigious honor. Its recipient is decided by the players. Joe Theismann, old ass, one of these old dudes that, old white men who think, I can't believe this dude is dishonoring the flag that has dishonored him forever and ever and ever. Really? You can't believe it? Same people who can't believe Trump is president. Same white people who can't believe that's happening. It's happening, white people. And all thanks to you. You're welcome. Thank you. Or whatever. Theismann said, he questioned what Kaepernick has inspired. So it's a award going to people who have inspired things. I think we all can, for better or worse, whatever you want to say about it, we can all agree, the rational people amongst us can agree that Colin Kaepernick did inspire a lot of things. He inspired a conversation. He inspired a lot of white people to pull them hoods out their pocket and put them right back on their heads. You know what I mean? Yeah, he inspired a lot of things. Theismann said everybody has the right to express their opinion. Every time you hear a white person say that, you know they about to say some bullcrap after it, and his bullcrap was, but not in the workplace. Which leads me to this article that I stumbled upon yesterday out of the Washington Post. Very well written article. The homie who wrote the article's name is Deron Snyder. We're going to try to get him on the show as well, at DeronSnyder. And he asked a question. Well, he makes a statement. Activism is okay as long as you're not talking about race. And when you think about it, he's right. He talked about people like Tom Brady and Jim Harbaugh who did this public service announcement for a nonprofit organization. In the announcement, they said, quote, I pledge to treat everyone with respect and dignity. I will not tolerate discrimination or harassment of any kind. I will speak up whenever I know discrimination is happening, and I will stand up for victims, end quote. Now, this is from Tom Brady, who has said now Aaron word about any of these black kids getting pulled over and murdered by the police. And then his boy, crazy man, weirdy face, Jim Harbaugh, went the extra mile when talking about Colin Kaepernick and saying, like, I don't disagree with his message, and I don't agree with what he's doing it for. And then apparently he realized that he's got to go recruit young black kids and sit in their families' homes and tell them how he's going to take care of them, and pulled it back a little bit. Like, no, I misspoke. I meant to just say I didn't agree with what he's doing, not the reason he's doing it. Yeah, MFR, you meant what you said the first time, dude. You know, you start apologizing for stuff you say, I'm not believing anything after the apology. I'm believing the thing you said initially, you know, and that may make me a bad guy, but I'm used to it. So there's that. So he goes on to talk about activism, as it's defined in the dictionary, the doctrine or practice of vigorous action or involvement as a means of achieving political or other goals, sometimes by demonstration, protests, etc. And then we always get into these conversations, and it goes back to the fandom, what fans want and what fans require out of the sports and sports figures. And it seems to be different based on who you are and what it is that you're standing for. A lot of people seem to believe that that sports and the real world shouldn't mix. Why? Because this is my escape. This is my escape from the real world. How bad is your world, where football has to be the thing that you a refuge from it? Like football is just like football, basketball is just a part of my world. Like it's a football game, it's a basketball game on right now. LeBron's playing, LeBron the Cavs, minus Kyrie and minus Kevin Love. Kevin Love got like food poisoning, Kyrie got a hamstring. Not playing against the Bulls tonight. But you know what I'm doing? I'm still doing other things at the same time. I'm not escaping from anything. That's such a ridiculous cop-out. So when an athlete like Colin Kaepernick interjects a political stance into the world of sports, you hear all these jackknives holler out, you know, keep it at home, Joe Namath. You know, believe what you do and do what you want to do, but not at the workplace. Okay, Joe. So why is no one, like when they had those, and this article points this out, when they was having those uncomfortably ridiculous domestic violence commercials with Chris Carter crying on them, enough is enough, and all this kind of craziness. After the Ray Rice thing, nobody ain't say nothing then. Isn't that taking a stance against something? Or is it just the things that everyone can agree on that you can't bring to the workplace? The NBA took their whole All-Star game, man, out of North Carolina because they wanted to discriminate against the LGBTQ community. Ain't that the same thing? So what it seems like is my man Darren is right. If you talking about race, especially in the sense where black people are the ones that's being hammered down upon, then all of a sudden sports fans don't want to hear nothing about it. 24 athletes took place in those PSAs that was running back to back over every commercial about domestic violence. No one said a peep. Michael Jordan felt the need to finally speak out, right? But in him speaking out, you know what he did? He hedged his bet. I'm going to give money to the NAACP, but let me give money to these police organizations too. Let me give $1 million to each of them. That way no one ain't going to say nothing because like who's going to say something against Michael Jordan supporting the police? No one. Had he just given $1 million to them Black Lives Matter cats, you know what would have happened? Yeah. Yeah, shoe sales down. And he knew it too. That's why when folks was giving him all that credit for it, I was the one on my show saying, for what? What did he really do? He wrote a statement and then hedged his bet. You tell me, just in like a regular situation, if you want to go into a fight with a dude like that can see the positives in both sides. Nah, I'm good. You know what I mean? If the police need more money to kill black kids, sell some of them damn tanks y'all rolling into the hood with. You know what I mean? Looking like you in Afghanistan somewhere. Do that. You don't need no more money? Organization like Black Lives Matter, I can assume they do. Or whoever else, the NAACP, I can assume they do. What the police gonna do? You need more training on not murdering people for no damn reason. I saw a video the other day, a couple of years old, from Chicago. They shot this boy. They lied, first of all, said the boy was coming at him. Video comes out, the kid is, like a 16-year-old kid is walking away from him. He took 16 shots in his back. Everybody went home but him. What they need more money for? People like Tony Stewart, he got his animal rights thing that he's all about. We were just talking about that early in the show. You know, white people who kiss their dogs on the mouth and all that kind of stuff, love the animals. Like, I used to work with this white girl, this silly white girl, and I was like, I don't give a damn. Like, if I heard someone on TV on TV maybe the other day, the black rhino went extinct a couple months ago. I would not have known that had they not said that to me. Now, you start talking to me about like stuff that's going to affect the ecosystem, like fish start going extinct, or chicken stuff that I like that's delicious, and meat going extinct. Well, we're going to have a problem. But the black rhino, I'm going to let you have that, cuz. I'll let you worry about that. I'm trying to worry about the black man, myself, not going extinct. I worry about no damn rhino. Well, yeah, I wanted to bring this, to the forefront, and you know what? No, I don't know what to put this on the poll, because I figure, Renee, I realize, Renee, that the responses to the hashtag put it on the poll, brought to us by sportsnewsandbrews.com, the response to it kind of rests on the way I word things. Because like I go back and read things like, that's kind of ambiguous and doesn't really make sense. And people are so damn lazy if it don't really hit them in the head right away. So yeah, I don't really have. If you got one, Renee, you can put a hashtag, put it on the poll with this. If you got one, but I don't really have one. Reading this article was just really. It was like really in my wheelhouse. He talks about how black athletes kind of took on the position of Michael Jordan, guys like Derek Jeter and guys like Tiger Woods and all this kind of stuff. Like people talk about like Derek Jeter's a womanizer, right? He's about to get married now, but he gets lauded for being a womanizer. And the only thing I can think about when I see that kind of stuff, I don't necessarily care, but like when I hear Serena Williams talk about shout out to Serena Williams also. She got engaged to like the founder of Snapchat or one of them damn things, like some billionaire dude. He's got to be like a billionaire because he founded one of these like Snapchat or Facebook, or not Facebook, but one of these damn things, Uber or something like that. But anyway, shout out to her. But when I hear her say stuff like, she feels like she's not mentioned in the conversation when it comes to the best athletes, period, of all times, and that being because she's a woman. The other thing I hear is like, if Serena was out here just smashing dudes and knocking dudes down right and left, but still, getting busy on the tennis court, yeah, she'd be a hoe playing tennis. And I understand that's the double standard that we live in. But I just want you to understand, those are the type of things that at times in the sports world we clap our hands to. But when a dude says, you know what, I'm tired of seeing like black dudes get murdered by the police, and I'm not standing and showing respect for this bullcrap country that allows this to happen and allow these people to go home. When that becomes the thing that you toot your nose up to, yeah, I think we got a problem, man. We got a huge problem, man. It is the One Mic with Big Mike show. We got one segment to go. I got to talk some basketball before I get out of here. And I know you D-bags. Oh, basketball? Is that going on right now? I thought it was only football season. It's not. Basketball is going on, and something in particular is happening right here in my city of Atlanta, and I'll talk about it next right here on the One Mic with Big Mike show. I'm heard live every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday on Spreaker.com, Spreaker.com. Sign up for your free account. I'm also on the Spreaker app, tune in, and OneMicWithBigMike.com.
Well, have one question for you.
Do you or someone you know run a business that could benefit from additional exposure? The One Mic with Big Mike show is currently taking on new sponsors and advertisers. One Mic with Big Mike is currently syndicated across 8 different online platforms, and your company's name could be heard and seen across all 8 as well.
Let's get to work.
Please send all inquiries to Mike at onemicwithbigmike.com. Thank you for listening. Thank you for your continued support.
All I need is one mic.
Take a look under your bed. Find stuff under there? What about jobs? No? Now try your basement. There's a pair of overalls that overall you're not so into anymore. A perfectly good laptop that hasn't sat in your lap in months. And even more stuff, but still no jobs? Well, you really have both. See, stuff is defined as household articles considered as a group. Sometimes this stuff is no longer needed. Wait, no longer needed? That can't be right. Because remember those jobs you were looking for? Those are really needed, and they're the stuff inside your stuff. Even inside that winter coat that moved with you to Phoenix. Our job is to unlock those jobs, and it starts when you donate your stuff to your local Goodwill. Here's how we do it. When you donate to Goodwill, we sell your stuff to provide job training for people right here in your community. So just by teaming up with Goodwill, you help create jobs. And isn't that worth parting with the leftover keytar from your 80s cover band? Goodwill. Donate stuff, create jobs. Find your nearest donation center at goodwill.org. A message from Goodwill and the Ad Council.
And now back to One Mic with Big Mike.
And here we go!
It makes it easier to bear.
Welcome back. Final segment of the show here on a hump day. One Mic with Big Mike show. It is also a Woman Crush Wednesday. Shout out to this week's Woman Crush Wednesday. Lily, a lot of you know her. Down with 90s R&B music. You know Lily from the group SWV. She's at the real LELEE SWV on the old Instagram. We back, man. Spreaker.com. The Spreaker app. Tune in. OneMicWithBigMike.com. Also on demand. If you guys want to go back and check out some of the previous episodes or interviews, you can catch them on demand on all those outlets, as well as on iTunes, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, Google Play Music, and YouTube. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube, subscribe to the iTunes as well. And follow me. You got to be following me on Twitter and Instagram, and also liking my Facebook page at One Mic with Big Mike, because I'm going to be giving away some of these new era, not this one, that's mine. Some of these new era Mitchell & Ness snapback hats. I got this Atlanta Falcons one right here in my hand. I'll be giving away here within the month of, starting this month and throughout the year until I just don't have no more, and then we'll figure something else out to do to thank you guys for rocking with your boy. So yeah, we're gonna move on from the football stuff because there are other sports going on, basketball being one of them. Did you guys see the story about Jay Crowder, the kid that's up in Boston for the Celtics? Apparently, what's the kid's name? Gordon Hayward from Utah came in town. Gordon Hayward's been balling this year. I know you guys haven't been paying attention to basketball, but he has out there in Utah. And there's a suspicion that he was going to want to play for his former college coach, Brad Stevens, who is now coaching the Boston Celtics. So when he showed up yesterday to play the Celtics fans, found their way to give my man a standing ovation and cheer him on. And Jay Crowder, who would be the player who would suffer the most or have to take a back seat somewhat if he were to sign with the Celtics, he took offense to it. He felt like it was disrespectful. He went out there and balled, gave him 20 points or whatnot. But then later on got into a little Twitter thing with some of the fans out there. This was outstanding too. When he said something about being, he talked to the reporters and said it was disrespectful to the reporter. And then a Twitter fan said, "Welcome to Boston, Jay. Love it or leave it." No, okay, I'm sorry. See, the Twitter stuff is different. It doesn't come top to bottom. It goes bottom to top. So he says home team fans cheering for the opposing players now. Oh, man, okay. Shaking my head, but good win, fellas. On to the next one. And then some dude chimes in and says, "Welcome to Boston, Jay. Love it or leave it." He comes back with the clap back. "I have no problem leaving it," in all caps. My man. Yeah, dude. F those dudes, man. I ain't for this dude being all in his feelings, but the pettiness is all. I'm all about that life. Like, yeah, dude's like, you can love it or leave it. And then you mess around and that kid don't come there, like, you're screwed. And I heard like Tracy McGrady and these cats talking today about you can't get into those battles with the fans. Why not? I'm a firm believer that people just don't get to say whatever they want to people. You know, if you decide you're going to ignore it, okay, cool. But if not, yeah, man, get your man on, whatever, cuz. Like, that ain't part of the ticket price. That you get to, like, verbally abuse people because I'm a fan and I paid this $12 for this ticket or whatever. Man, get out of here. That's ridiculous. So, no, I was hoping you wouldn't text me, Renee, so I'd have to look down at the phone. Just put them in the chat room. Play. We gotta start using Skype, man, so I can stay focused, man. So, last episode, I talked about the Hawks and the possibility of the need for a tanking. You know, a tanking, for those of you who aren't abreast in the term or with the term, meaning losing games on purpose to get a better draft pick in the draft. Now, with the NBA, it's a little bit different than the NFL because the NFL rewards you for being bad. The NBA just gives you a better chance on getting the pick. You don't necessarily lose as many games as you can and you automatically get the first pick. They have this draft lottery situation or the ping pong ball situation or whatever. But for the Hawks, right, a team that already had troubles luring big-time free agents to the city to play basketball, to make this team a contender, caught a little lightning in a bottle a couple years ago and found their way to the Eastern Conference Finals. But even that, people, you knew it was fool's gold. Everybody around the NBA pretty much knew it was fool's gold. This is how they ended up getting swept in the finals, in the NBA Finals. So fast forward to the next year. The team was a little bit worse. I think they were like 4th or 5th in the conference. This year, they're dabbling around 500. And the talks as of late have been shipping Paul Millsap's ass out. Paul Millsap being the headline guy, but not only he, but Kyle Korver, and Thabo Sefolosha as well, which to me is like a slick way of kind of, sort of tanking. God, I wish he wouldn't do this. Kind of, sort of tanking, you know what I mean? Without actually doing it. You start getting rid, because you're not gonna get fair value back for Paul Millsap. Why? Because his contract is gonna be up at the end of the season, so you're not gonna get a fair compensation for him, because whoever gets him is gonna run the risk of him. He's opting out anyway. They're gonna run a real risk of them losing him. Kyle Korver, he'll be a good piece, spot-up shooter off the bench. Kyle Korver starting here, I've said it for like 3 years. Kyle Korver starting in Atlanta is one of the biggest mysteries in the history of basketball. And, of course, Thabo Sefolosha, he's getting up there in age. He's been in the league quite a bit, had that broken leg last year. And I feel like the Hawks organization is setting the team up for assault, or the fans up, trying to cushion the landing instead of just ripping the damn Band-Aid off and saying this is what it has to be and explaining to these people here, man. Like, since I've been doing sports radio, I've said this thing about the people here in Atlanta, that the sports IQ of the fans here is not what they would love for you to believe it is. It's not. It's always about what's happening right now, and a lot about what's happened before, the bad things that have happened before. The Dominique got traded, or Eugene Robinson was out there looking for transvestite hookers at the Super Bowl. It's always about these bad things that have happened before, or the what's happening right now. Matt Ryan he's the ish. He's the best ever. When last year you were talking about how much he was a bum. I posted this thing today on my Facebook to remind these folks that I ain't forgot. Y'all had a petition out to fire Kyle Shanahan. Yeah, hashtag never forget, man. I don't. But now he's the greatest thing since sliced bread. That is the fandom here in Atlanta. So in saying that, it's incumbent upon the organizations to better inform the fans, even if it's something that you may not like. It's like telling your kid, man, that, look, you can't sing, Johnny. I'm not going to sit up here and tell you can and you sound like crap and you try to take your ass on American Idol and get embarrassed in front of the nation. You can't sing. For the Hawks fans here, this is what's happening in the NBA. The new collective bargaining agreement has made it financially a financial, what's the word I'm looking for? It's going to cause players to have to make huge financial sacrifices to leave the team that drafts them, because that team will be able to pay them so much money for so long. Leaving that team and either starting your situation over or just taking a huge pay cut wouldn't make a whole lot of sense. This is the way the owners are taking back their place at the head of the table and keeping their guys on the plantation, so to speak. So with a team like the Hawks, who already people wasn't running to come here and play basketball. Dwight Howard happens to be here, and he's Dwight Howard of 2016, not 2006. So there's that. So you can't even count that as a big-time free agent. And the next guy was who? Kent Bazemore? Nice player, but come on. Let's face it, he's Kent Bazemore. So with all that being said, the only way that you're going to do it is to be bad. And I'm going to be very interested. Like, now my eyes are really on a couple of squads. My eyes are on this Dallas squad because there's been, talk about them being a team that's tanking this year because they want to kind of move from Dirk Nowitzki to another superstar when he retires. And right now they don't really have a lot on that roster. And the team that's done it for a couple of years now, this 76ers bunch. Now, the way they've done it, they've log jammed themselves with big men, with Joel Embiid and what's his name, Okafor and Nerlens Noel. They've kind of just caught themselves in this log jam of big men in which everybody can't get on the court. They got Ben Simmons there, who was supposed to be, and may still be, he was supposed to be the next coming of LeBron. Problem with that is LeBron came into the league like busting people with damn near triple doubles first game out the box. Ben Simmons came into the league injured. I think he's supposed to be coming back here pretty soon, but who knows what he's going to be, especially now, because guess what? Joel Embiid is the star of that show. And when I had my man Jovan Buha on last week, I wanted to ask him about it, but it kind of just, time got away from us in the conversation. But ask him how that dynamic is going to work, because Ben Simmons is a guy who's been used to being a star for a very, very long time in his basketball career. And now he's going to have to show up and just play team ball with a guy who is shown himself to be very, very charismatic and very, very fan-friendly. And the whole, call me the process type guy. It's going to be an interesting dynamic. But I'm going to be watching that closely, because this is the new NBA, where if you don't have your KD and your Russ Westbrook and your James Harden and your LeBron James already, Kyle Lowry and DeMar DeRozan, those guys, Paul George, if you don't have them now, you're not going to get them from somebody else's team. Maybe guys start forcing signing trades, maybe. But who's forcing themselves to Atlanta? Like, who's forcing the sign and trade? Like, you got to sign me because I want all my money and trade me to the Hawks. Yeah, I'll hang up and listen. Nobody. You know what I mean? So the Hawks are in a position, and the Hawks fans gonna have to stiffen those damn upper lips, man, and realize one thing is for real. The tank is real, dude. You gotta fix your face and fix your mind to say this might just have to be what it is for us. We gotta be bad for a little while, and it's been bad around here before. And fans, you guys made it out of it. That's when I used to go to the game, because guess what? Shoot, anybody. I was working at the radio station one, and we would always get tickets because nobody was there. Now, no one's still there, but for whatever reason, all the tickets is taken up and all. I don't know. I don't work in radio anymore, so I don't know how this stuff works. So yeah, for my people here in Atlanta, or if you're in another team that don't really have that, and I don't think there's really any other. I mean, Brooklyn maybe, that don't really have those cornerstone pieces yet. That's what the NBA is gonna make you do, man. It's gonna make you be bad, and we'll see as the years go on. I talked about Monday how this is a golden era, a renaissance for the NBA, because it seems like every time you turn around, there's a star player, legitimate star player on your TV. You look at the highlights, everybody's got a good player on their team, at least one. What may end up happening is, if these drafts don't fall right and people don't draft correctly, you can see teams like there'll be another separation, a top-heavy NBA. But back to Paul Millsap real quick before I move on. Him going to Toronto, which is one of the teams who have been mentioned, who his name has been mentioned with, I think that's a nice look. Him. I heard Steven Jackson on TV. They got to get him off TV now, because at first he was funny, but now he's just really a guy who doesn't sound prepared to say, like, these opinions come from everywhere, and then he contradicts himself by the end of the opinion from what he said at the beginning of the opinion. Like, he was talking about Paul Millsap. Like, Paul Millsap ain't leading nobody to no championship. What has he done in Atlanta? And totally not getting the point that Paul Millsap is not that guy. But you group him with DeMar DeRozan and Kyle Lowry, and he still continues just to do the things he does in Atlanta. Get blocks and steals, spread the floor, hit an open three every now and then, do some work on the post. My goodness. Like, what team that's in contention, the Raptors being in second place right now, they got to try to climb that Cleveland mountain. And if somebody's going to tell me that Paul Millsap couldn't help that team do that, you don't know basketball. Not at all. It's the One Mic with Big Mike show. Wrapping up here. We got a couple minutes left. You guys can still get in on the show by texting me at 404-902-8104. You can also leave your comments below the live streaming video. I'm streaming video on Facebook Live. My Facebook page is at the number 1 MICWITHBIG MIKE. And you can also holler at your boy. Make sure you check out the poll questions at One Mic with Big Mike on Twitter. Hashtag put it on the poll is brought to us by Sports News and brews.com. Don't forget, you guys can holler at your boy if you got a company, a product, or anything that you want to get out there, an event, anything you want to get out there, holler at us. We'll try to work something out with you to make sure that, everybody eat. One hand washes another one, as I like to say. I forgot where that came from, but I just go ahead and claim it. Yeah, one hand, to wash another one, and we'll see if we can work something out for you. If you want to sponsor a segment on the show or sponsor the studio. See this mic flag? This mic flag has like an empty side on it, and I keep that on purpose. So like if somebody wants to sponsor the studio, the One Mic with Big Mike Studios brought to you, or whatever, your company studios, I can just put it on the mic flag and turn the flag around, and your company logo would be right here on the YouTube, or what is this called? The Facebook Live video for the entire duration of the show. And as far as the show goes, it's always saved on Facebook, and we always repost it and retweet it and all that stuff, so people see it over and over and over and over again, even when they go back and listen, because that's happening a lot lately. I'm looking at our numbers on Spreaker and stuff, and I'm wondering, like, the numbers are going up but the latest episode isn't the one that's doing it, so people are going back and listening to the previous episode. So once again, it's well appreciated. Oh, before I get out of here, I've got to introduce you guys to Najee Harris, the illest young football player. He's the number 1 recruit in the country. I don't do recruiting on my show, but this, obviously, because I don't do it, it's a special occasion. The homie says when it comes time to pick his school, he's going to be in this all-star game, this Army all-star game this weekend. When it's time for him to pick his school, yeah, homie's not going to do that whole press conference and like fake out, fake pick this hat or fake pick that hat. My man said he's just gonna show up on campus. Yeah, wherever he's going, he's an early Alabama commit. Surprise, surprise, number one prospect in the country. But yeah, the homie says he's just gonna show up on campus, like for early registration, because I guess that early graduation thing has been a thing for the last couple of years, for a couple of years now, a bunch of years I should say. So he's like, yeah, he's just gonna show up for early enrollment, and that's how they gonna know he's coming to their school. My man. You know what I mean? Like, to me, that's how you do it. Like, when everybody's trying to outdo each other with the mascots and the hats and all this kind of stuff, like, you just shine on everybody by just doing it the most kind of low-key way, but it's so different than everybody else has ever done it that it's not going to be low-key. Yeah, shout out to that kid, man. Let me get you his name one more time because, I don't remember. Najee Harris is the kid's name. Shout out to you, homie. Yeah, there's another thing I wanted to mention from the other day that I didn't mention. This pipeline situation that's going on in North Dakota, and a lot of these indigenous people, they risking it all, man, for that pipeline, for their land, and not just for their land, but like for the environment too, because they're trying to build this pipeline under a stream. You know what I mean? And they trying to tell them, well, no, we're gonna make sure it's not gonna burst and pollute anything. Really? Because I remember a couple months ago, cats was paying like $9 a gallon for water for that same thing, a pipeline bust. And for whatever reason, no one thought to say, why the hell am I paying for their F up? Well, they pay to fix the pipeline and pay to keep the prices where they already was. But that ain't how it work in America. You know what I mean? Like, rich people and big companies can F up stuff, oil spills and all that, and guess who got to feel the pinch on it? The people who thought it wasn't, me and you. So anyway, a couple of these dudes got into the Minnesota Vikings game the other day, And they did like an investigation about it to figure out how this particular thing that I'm about to tell you about happened. These cats climbed up to the rafters of that brand new dome. They climbed up to the rafters and hung a banner, like a 100-foot banner down over the field, protesting, what is it, PNG? One of those banks that's involved in the pipeline construction. And apparently today, they, right. Good point, Renee. Thank you. Like, Renee is pointing out that the people in Flint, Michigan, like, other people poisoning them, but, like, I read it now. I'm thinking about what it's saying. So they're paying for the water now? They're not giving these people water? That's real deal Holyfield. Like, I'm paying to bathe in bottled water. Only in America, baby. And people wonder how Trump became president? Because it's okay to poison people. It's okay that when a hurricane hits, to leave people to die and babies to die in a dome and on top of buildings. That's how Trump became president, man. In Chicago. It's okay for the police, I talked about it on Monday, to quit patrolling the neighborhoods so the murder rate can skyrocket. How did Trump become president? Come on, man, it was inevitable. The one bad thing about President Obama being president, if I could pick one bad thing, it gave black people the illusion that we had some influence in this country. But you know what gave us the reality check? This. The orange-haired, orange monster that's about to get sworn in about 20 days. Him. That's the reality check. That this country, I posted a video on my Facebook, One Mic with Big Mike. It might be on my personal. Renee, if it's on my personal, can you put it on my page, please? They had like a meeting, like one of those like Hail Hitler meetings, but they was like Hail Trump, cuz. Yes. Yes. Yeah. U.S. Bank. Thank you, Renee. U.S. Bank. I said PNG or something. Yeah, they were protesting U.S. Bank. Yeah, cuz like this stuff is way too serious, man. Way too crazy to think that a dude like Donald Trump wouldn't be. And like every time I see this dude walk across my TV screen, I literally laugh, like not figuratively. I laugh and just say, that dude is the president. Oh, man, I hope y'all ready for a bumpy ride, B. A bumpy ride, man. So anyway, these cats, they did an investigation as to how it happened and what happened. These cats came in because it was cold in Minnesota, or it's cold in Minnesota right now. Everybody's all layered up. So these cats, these I guess they were Native Americans. That's always funny for me. And these indigenous people, the people who were here before it was called America. That was the question. When I wanted to get those people on for the Native American Society before Thanksgiving, that's one of the things I wanted to ask them. Like, do your people know what they called this place before it was named after a Spanish dude? And then giving credit to another dude for discovering it. Like how stupid is that? You name it after one dude, but then tell everybody that the dude that came after him discovered it. And everybody's just like, yeah, I mean, that makes sense to me. No, it's stupid. Like, if anything, the country should be called Colombia. And we should be selling much cocaine out this joint. Growing it, I should say. Anyway. So no, like Renee done flipped my whole. So yeah, they had ropes and the banner on their person. So these dudes done like grappled up, climbed over some sort of barrier they had to keep people from doing this particular thing. Did it anyway, found a way to do it anyway, and was hanging, cuz, from the top of this stadium. There's pictures on my Facebook, man, hanging from the top of this stadium with this banner. I was like, look, dude. Like, I know we all about Black Lives Matter, the movement and all that. Them folks there are about it. You know how cold it is in North Dakota right now? And these white folks thought that this cold was going to discourage these people. They're like, nope. We're going to brave this out. Yeah. Come on, black folks. If we real about it, okay, how many Negroes they start murdering? It start getting too damn cold. Everybody going home. I mean, you MFers go home when it's time to go to work. Like, I need those native cats on my team. Them and the Mexicans. Like, us, the natives and the Mexicans, that's a formidable resistance to all this bull crap. What us with our little 13%. Do y'all even know that the Mexicans, the Hispanics, are have eclipsed black people in this country percentage wise. Yeah, like the numbers just keep getting small. Like white people, they ain't even worried about us. They worry about the Mexicans, dude. That's why they build that wall. That's why Jim Bob and them was talking about building the damn wall. No one cares. I am No Dose is in the chat room. Got a couple minutes left in the show. I have voted for LT. I don't give a sugar honey iced tea about that NFL show. I've never watched a whole episode. Which one? The one that LT's on? Me neither. Like I had it on the other day, and then as soon as I started to listen, they started doing this segment with the fans Skyping in. I was like, I'm out. I'm not trying to sit here. Like if I'm doing this, I need information. I don't need to hear Kevin's question from Secaucus. Nah, hell no. That's why I don't like callers on my show. Renee asked me one day, a long time ago, you ever thought about doing callers? Never. Because when I was working on a platform that it was a thing, all we would do is like let people call in, and then when all the phone lines light up, not answer them. Sorry, maybe I shouldn't have let that little secret out. So yeah, that thing, that North Dakota pipeline thing. For those of you who aren't paying attention, yeah, it's real, players. It's real deal, Holyfield. What? Native Americans called America what? Akoira. Acoyra. Akoira. The freaking Renee is on it today. Like, boom. Like, we get these interns in. Like, Renee ain't gonna have to do this no more, but I appreciate that. It was called Akoira. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna start calling it. God dog it. Black people, join me. The movement starts today. The Akoira. Ain't no damn America. Unless you spell it with 3 Ks like I do on all my on my social media posts. And with a lowercase a. Total disrespect. Yeah, you thought sitting down for it or standing, whatever, guys. America with 3 Ks and a small a. And there's Akoira. I hope that's how you pronounce it too, because I want to get it right. Freaking Akoira is where I live. It ain't where I'm from. It's just where I'm at. Okay, so the final poll results, Renee, are just 100% people say LaDainian Tomlinson. No one's checking in on the what is it? The Hard Knock situation. I only did 2 today. Only did 2 hashtag put it on the polls. POLL, by the way. Brought to us by sportsnewsandbrews.com. And I think that's everything I got on my page today. So what we're going to do now is going to get the hell up out of here, because on Friday we got to come back. Hopefully I got a special guest coming up on Friday. Special to me, somebody who's a part of my youth, famous basketball player, famous for a lot of different things than just playing basketball. The kind I like, the kind of guys I like to talk to, that they just got sports. They got a little something, some substance to them. So hopefully get to knock that out on Friday. I'm going to do my best to do that for you guys next week. Looking to get some Falcons on the show, so I am No Dose. Brace yourself. Sucks that your team didn't make it, but it's a big deal in my city, man. You know what I mean? That the Falcons actually have a realistic chance of doing making some noise in these playoffs. So next week, I'm going to reach out to my guy, D. Orlando, reach out to a couple former players as well, and we're going to see if we can rock this thing out, man. It's 2017. Let's just see, man. Let's just see how it works. It's the One Mic with Big Mike show. Spreaker.com, the Spreaker app. Tune in, OneMicWithBigMike.com, iTunes, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, Google Play Music, and YouTube, man. You guys make sure if you missed any of this show or any previous show, you catch it on demand on any of those outlets. We post a video on YouTube if you're a looker or watcher and all those things. And please make sure you guys follow me for your own good. Follow me at One Mic with Big Mike on Twitter and Instagram, and like my Facebook page. So when I start giving away these hats, you guys can be in the building and be in that number and get yourself one. So until Wednesday, and also shout out to Lily from SWV. Today's first Woman Crush Wednesday of 2017. Shout out to her. Until Friday, man, you guys be safe out there. Take care of yourselves, and I hope I talk to you then.